Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
It is.
Yeah,
Hello.
there she is. There she is, everybody. How you doing, Lauren, today?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, tolerable. Instagram, find us there, in Wilder Show Pod, and then you'll like it and all those things. By the way, engage everywhere you can with us, except in person. We don't want to engage with you in person.
I would engage with you in person.
I'm kidding, of course. Go to Lauren in person. Podcast at wildershow.com. The podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube. We're on the TikTok now and again. Wherever you find us, engage with us there on the podcast if you want. Tell us what you think about the show. Tell us whatever. Like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share there. With your friends, too. We appreciate that. Speaking of responses, we've had some people that have made some comments that we'll talk about in our time together today, maybe in Scattershoot. Also, we missed a big anniversary.
Yeah.
On Tuesday of this week was a very big anniversary.
Okay.
And it's one that I think you would have taken note of. We did the podcast on Monday. It dropped on Tuesday. And I wouldn't really have looked ahead. But even on Tuesday, I saw you. No, I talked to you, though, on Tuesday, and you didn't mention it. So I think, she didn't remember it. So that'll be part of our little thing.
Okay.
In Scattershoot. What does pizza have to do with war? What does pizza have to do with war? We'll do the pizza part in a minute. War. Man, does this thing go back and forth. I mean, it could be drastically different by the time this podcast drops or by the time you listen to this. It turns out there were talks. The president had said, hey, we're talking. And Iran said, we're not talking. Turns out they were talking. There were talks. But I don't know what's going to lead to. We have a 15-point deal. There was a talk before. And in the talk before, they didn't lead to anything. And then we went to war.
Right.
Remember he said, you have 48 hours to accept this deal. Well, that deal, they rejected. This deal that we are offering has 15 points, and it's worse for them than the one they rejected. So it is not likely that they're going to accept it. And in fact, they have an offer back to us that is something that we will never accept. For example, give them reparations for the war that has gone on so far. To abandon all of our military bases in the Middle East. I mean, both sides are saying, it's like, no, we're trying to negotiate. Yeah, you're not, though. You're not, really not. If you're putting things out there that you know will be rejected. Oh, another thing they want to do is they say, yeah, we're going to start charging a fee, pay toll to the troll, like in Billy Goat's Gruff. Remember that?
I do.
Pay toll to the troll for anyone leaving the Strait of Hormuz. If you want to navigate the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to start charging a fee. Now, to be fair, Egypt charges a fee for the Suez Canal. Panama, people say Panama or Panama.
Panama.
Yeah, but I've heard people say it like correcting the people, those of us who said Panama. Anyway,
I've never heard Panama.
Yeah.
But...
Anyway, Panama charges for passage in the Panama Canal. So it's not unprecedented to charge. But that's one of the things they want. And that's something we're not going to agree to.
Yeah.
Right. The president mentioned that Iran had offered him a very valuable present. Did you see that early in the week?
I did not.
He was giving one of his little press things. And he said, I have been offered a very valuable present.
You like shiny stuff.
And I think I was in the studio and I was probably said out loud, it must be something gold. But he was asked, well, what is it? He said, I'm not going to tell you what it is. And he said, but it is oil and gas related.
Oh.
I thought, okay, that's kind of weird. He didn't say what it was. But he did say that the present that was offered to him told him that, in fact, we are talking to or negotiating with the right people.
Okay.
Not just kind people, but people that can affect a change. So he said that early in the week, and people all week were wondering, what is this present? Whatever could this be? Well, yesterday in the cabinet meeting, which those are, is it insufferable?
Yes.
They are insufferable. Watching those, I really do find myself saying, okay, I'll watch them so you don't have to.
We appreciate that.
Oh, because every one of them is like this. Let's get an update from Marco. Marco, give us an update. And it's the same no matter who he's talking, Pete Hegseth, anybody else, Treasury Secretary, whoever. And whoever he calls on says, well, Mr. President, I'll get to that update in a second, but let me just say that it's because of the greatness of you that we have been able to, okay, it just, you're only being called on to buoy, right?
Yeah.
Now the president, it's just it's so irritating. Anyway, but it was at that event that he shared what the president was. And it turns out it was Iran giving permission for some ships with oil to safely travel through the Strait of Hormuz for 10 ships. And they did.
Okay.
And nothing happened to them. So that's kind of a sign of good faith,
Sure.
right? That's showing that, hey, we're the ones that can make a difference. I'll show you. And by the way, they traversed under Pakistani flags. But the point is they were able to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and again, everything could have blown up and changed between the time we're sitting down and talking about this and the time that you're listening to this. But there is talk about boots on the ground. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Marine amphibious units. The president is talking about sending them to an island off the coast of Iran. Remember, we drew what it looks like, a balloon with a knot, and the knot is the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
So up in here is the Persian Gulf, and then the knot, and then down here is the Gulf of Oman.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there it goes off to the Indian Ocean and the rest of the world. There's a little island, and it is about 400 miles north of the Strait of Hormuz. It's just off the Iranian mainland.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Kharg Island.
Okay.
Kharg,
Mm-hmm.
Kharg Island. And what makes it unique is the waters there are very, very deep, but it is very close to the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this island. Think of it like the top of a mountain, like under the water is all gone. It's the tip of a mountain. Let's say that very, very top is the part that's above water.
Okay.
And it's very deep right beside it.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is ships, big ships, oil containers, whatnot, can get very close to the mainland.
Got it.
By going to Kharg Island.
Mm-hmm.
So 90% of Iran's oil that is exported goes through Kharg Island. That's how important Kharg Island is.
Okay.
So virtually all the oil from Iran goes first to or through Kharg Island, and then it makes its way 400 miles, I guess it's southeast, to the Strait of Hormuz, through the Strait of Hormuz, to the Gulf of Oman, and then to the rest of the world. So the president has talked about boots on the ground, and people said, no boots on the ground, no boots on the ground. Here is I think it's a distinction without a difference, but I think the president is saying, we're going to put boots on the ground, but not on the mainland. It's kind of a cheat code.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really honest. It is still boots on the ground if we do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we should do that, but we'll have to see where this goes. So he's set his sights on this island, Kharg Island, for boots on the ground. Not the ground, but, the ground. The island ground, but not the mainland ground. I'm not sure that's reasoning people are going to buy. And there are stories that Iran has been booby-trapping the island in anticipation
Yikes.
of U.S. presence on the ground there. Now, even if it weren't dangerous, which I believe it is, now, obviously, anytime you go to war, it's dangerous. But, I mean, even if it weren't particularly dangerous for the booby traps and the IEDs and the different things, is it something that meets our objectives? I guess we don't know, do we? We don't know what our objectives are. Does it meet them? I have no idea, because I think most people believe there are not clear objectives for why we are there. And beyond that, there are huge risks. Iran has even said, if you attack or take over Kharg Island, we're going to attack oil facilities. See, we attacked a whole bunch of places on Kharg Island. And maybe you remember that early on. I say early on, it's only been a couple of weeks, but we did attack some places on Kharg Island. None of the oil facilities specifically made a point of that. We did this, yes, but we didn't do that. So we didn't impact their ability to do business with oil. If we go in there and take over the whole thing, and if we shut down their ability to do business, they're going to say, game on.
Right.
If that happens, it's not overstating, I think, to call it a disaster. I still want us out soon. Israel's saying they don't want us to leave. I'm sure they don't. But if our military objectives, if we can set them, and if we can meet them, whatever those are, we should leave. Let Israel stay as long as they want to stay. Do whatever they're going to do. Maybe through back channels. The president has told Bibi Netanyahu, here's the deal. We're out in 10 days. Whoever you want to kill them. Whatever changes you want to make them. Because we're going to be out soon. Now, I know you salute the rank, not the man. But golly, he makes it difficult sometimes. Pizza. War and pizza.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to have a war, you should probably stock up on pizza.
Why is that?
You ever heard the Pentagon pizza theory?
No, I don't think so.
It is an observation that there are spikes in fast food orders, particularly pizza orders, near U.S. government buildings, such as the Pentagon, CIA headquarters, White House, right before an international crisis.
Because they're spending so much time there?
Yes. Is that weird?
Mm-hmm.
It started in 1990. Frank Meeks was a franchisee for Domino's in Washington. He told the Los Angeles Times about an extraordinary observation of some unusual late-night deliveries to the Pentagon, the CIA, and the White House. He said on August 1st, the CIA had ordered a one-night record of 21 pizzas. And the following day, Iraq invaded Kuwait, and it started the Gulf War. At first, he thought, yeah, this is a coincidence. You know, that's probably not the deal. But then he saw a bunch of deliveries in 1998, December 1998. What was a big news story in December 1998? The impeachment hearings of Bill Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
And in response, it was actually Wolf Blitzer at CNN. He was at the time the Pentagon correspondent, and he said, bottom line for journalists, always monitor pizza. During Operation Neptune Spear, that was the 2011 raid in which Osama bin Laden was killed. George Little, the Pentagon press secretary, described the White House Situation Room as looking like a college fraternity house due to the large number of pizza boxes laying around.
That's pretty funny.
The White House team staggered their orders across multiple restaurants and also sent a staffer to pick up food from a Costco so as not to arouse suspicion.
You would have to do that.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? In August 2024, an X account was created known as Pentagon Pizza Report. And it monitors live visit data on Google Maps in Arlington, Virginia.
Sure.
Though it has no insight on actual order volume or where the pizzas are delivered. Anyway, I thought it was really interesting. It goes back. There are several examples of time when that was the case. Papa John's, April 13th, 2024. Papa John's had unusually high activity in Washington, D.C. It coincided with Iran's launch of drones into Israel's territory. On June 12th, 2025, at 7 p.m., the Pentagon Pizza Report account noted a huge surge in activity at the District Pizza Palace, which is 2 miles away from the Pentagon. At 8 p.m., Israel conducted a bombing campaign against Iran, triggering the war between the two countries. And on June 22nd, 2025, 10:38 p.m., sounds weird to say, an alert went out, from the Pizza Report, but it was unusually high levels of activity reported at the Papa John's 2 miles from the Pentagon. That was 1 hour before Donald Trump announced U.S. strikes on the nuclear enrichment facilities.
Wow.
Last year. Watch the pizza.
I wonder if it's still, we talked about this recently, about how pizza delivery is down overall, because it used to be that pizza was pretty much the go-to. If you wanted to have something delivered, food delivered, pizza was what you did. And now with all of the other delivery options that we have, the DoorDashes and the things like that, you can pretty much get anything delivered. So it seems like that would not even be that much of a thing anymore if people can order from wherever they want. Although I guess you've got the really important people doing things more important than deciding what kind of pizza we're going to have. Somebody else does that and orders the pizza for everybody. So I guess that makes sense. But so I guess if there's one bright side, it's that, pizza delivery might be down overall, but war is good for pizza delivery, at least in some parts of the country.
One more thing before scattershoot. Good news. I think it's good news for women's sports.
Yeah.
No more biological men in women's sports in the Olympics.
Right.
The new IOC policy says transgender women, that is to say men, who are wanting to compete in women's athletics, are now excluded from the Olympics after the IOC agreed to the new eligibility policy. This happened just yesterday. That aligns with President Trump's executive order on women's sports.
Mm-hmm.
And it is determined ahead of the 2028 Los Angeles Games.
Yep, it will apply to those games onwards.
Women who are racing will be running, right? 100-yard dash, sprint, 100-meter, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They will be competing against women, not men.
Mm-hmm.
Swimmers, that's a category that I think we've watched before in college athletics.
Mm-hmm.
You have somebody takes a guy, a biological male, competes with women, and shockingly, he beats them all.
Any female category event.
That's
like
right.
The Olympic Games or any other IOC event. It applies to individual and team sports, now limited to biological females. And this will be determined on the basis of a one-time SRY gene screening.
Interesting.
That will happen, before.
That's interesting. Now they will find some exception, maybe some wild medical exception,
right,
to that rule. And they will talk about how the rule is unfair. Look, I don't care. If you want women and men to play sports together, I don't care. It's okay with me. However, there will no longer be any women's sports. No WNBA. Just throw them all in the same pile, and the best athletes will be the ones that win and get to play and get to be on the teams. There will be no women's softball, no women's volleyball, nothing. Maybe skating. I don't know. Something that is particularly easy. I don't say easier, but more akin to the female anatomy.
You're talking about figure skating?
I guess not even that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you have some things, all the strength things, all the speed things, all those kinds of things. No women would be participating at all. You might make your country's team in some International Olympic Committee lead up to the Olympics in order to get there or win your nationals, but probably not.
Well, they could participate, but their chances of winning might be slim, depending on how many participants don't meet the born female requirement. If
you could participate in that lower level to try and get to the Olympics, it's unlikely you would be able to get to the Olympics. There would be only men. And if that's what you want, then that's what we should do. But I like having women's sports. I like it being protected from men destroying women's sports. There you go. So I think it's very good news. Also, I think it's a little feather in the cap for President Trump. I mean, this was a big deal to him. He put it out there. And the IOC has made a decision that is going to follow his executive order for the Olympics that he will tell you we only got in America because of him. He made a rule about that. It's a rule now that benefits women's sports, Olympic sports, beyond just this one time that it's going to take place in America. It benefits sports in the future. I don't think it means his picture should be on the Olympic flag or on all the gold medals.
Don't give him any ideas.
Gosh. All right. Oh, it is a time for scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show, scattershoot. All right. We missed an anniversary. I say we missed. It's one that I would not have remembered.
But you think I would have, or I should have.
Yes. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
And it was from this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 24th of March, 1984.
Oh, man.
Okay. I'm going to give you hints, and you're going to see if you can come around.
Okay, March 24th, 1984. I was in college.
All right. Yep.
I was in the spring semester.
That's correct.
Of my sophomore year of college.
All righty.
I was living here in Dallas.
Okay. I'm going to give some hints.
Yeah.
Des Plaines, Illinois.
Okay.
Des Plaines, Illinois. You would recognize...
Des Plaines.
Des Plaines. What did I say?
Des Plaines.
Yeah.
It's
not like Desi. It's like Des
easier
Plaines.
than that. Like Des Plaines. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Des Plaines, Illinois.
Uh-huh.
You would recognize Maine North High School. You would.
I would?
Yeah, you would for sure. You would recognize Maine North High School.
I don't think I would.
No, I think you would.
Okay.
You might know it as Shermer High School.
I don't. You're not to tell me
Okay.
more.
All right, let's keep
tell
going.
Me more.
Ready?
Okay.
Dear Mr. Vernon, we accept the fact that we had to sacrifice a whole Saturday in detention for whatever it was we did wrong. But we think you're crazy to make us write an essay telling you who we think we are. You see us as you want to see us, in the simplest terms, in the most convenient definitions. But what we found out is that each of us is a brain and an athlete and a basket case, a princess, and a criminal.
It's a breakfast club.
Does that answer your question? Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Now, that is the movie.
Yeah.
But here is the part that I found really interesting. I've heard this before.
Uh-huh.
Do you know the theory of The Breakfast Club?
I do not.
Who was your favorite character of the actress or the actor in that movie, The Breakfast Club? You remember what it is? It's five kids. It's 5 kids that are wildly different from one another. They have all gotten in trouble.
Yeah.
And they are all in detention on a Saturday morning.
So there was Ali Sheedy.
That's right.
There was Molly Ringwald.
That's right.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Correct.
Judd Nelson.
That's right.
You said there were 6?
5.
5. So, was it Andrew McCarthy?
Okay. Now the basket case was Ali Sheedy.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? It wasn't Andrew McCarthy who played the jock. It was Emilio Estevez. Right. His character was Andrew. But yes, Emilio Estevez was the 5th.
You had the brain.
Yeah.
The athlete. The basket case, Ali Sheedy. The princess.
Molly Ringwald.
And the criminal.
That was Judd Nelson, I think, right?
All right. Here is the theory.
Okay.
She was the only one in detention. All of the other ones were her imagination. They were so specifically the jock, the brain, the princess, the criminal.
Whose theory is this?
It's a common theory that's been out. Now, it's not true. And the who is it? Was it John Hughes?
John Hughes.
John Hughes said, yeah, that's great, but it doesn't really, he says it doesn't hold up. He says that was, he wanted a straightforward ensemble. He wanted different high school types, though discovering common ground.
Yeah.
That the basket case found out she is a little bit of a criminal and she is a little bit of a beauty and she is a little bit, anyway, but there are several things, just a couple of things from why people think this.
I love the thinking behind this. It turns something. I got an English degree. Yeah. That was what I spent at least 2 of the 4 years in college was spent, working towards that. So that's a lot of reading and then figure out, okay, what do I see in this? How can I make this? How can I make this more complicated?
More interesting.
More interesting. That's a better way. Yeah. That's a better way to say it. But I've got to pull something out of this and find something deeper than just the words on the page. So I love it when somebody looks at a movie and figures that something like that out.
Now, I do like this. I'm going to read some of this, but here's why people think this. Number one, extreme stereotypes. Okay, the characters map perfectly into high school cliches, almost too neatly.
Okay.
And the theory says the reason it is so neatly is because it is a construct of her brain.
Yeah.
She is making up these other people. They are all very specific. Number 2, Allison's behavior. That's the Ali Sheedy character.
Yeah.
She barely speaks at first. She lies like she has no reason for being in detention. Seems to drift in and out of the group dynamic. Some people read that as someone retreating into imagination, that they think that's what the film structure. Much of the movie takes place in just one room with long conversations, almost like an internal dialogue rather than interaction.
Yeah.
If she were in there by herself,
Yeah.
every time the teacher would come in or the coach, whoever it was, tell them what to do.
Mm-hmm.
The makeover scene,
Yeah.
when Claire gives Allison a makeover, could be interpreted symbolically. Allison reshaping how she sees herself, trying on another identity that's, quote, in the room with her, in detention with her.
Yeah.
So what the characters could represent, according to the theory: the brain,
Yeah.
academic pressure, fear of failure. Andrew is the athlete, conformity, parental expectations. Claire is the princess, social status, insecurity. The criminal, Bender, rebellion and anger.
Yeah.
She is all of those characters. And again, it doesn't hold up.
It's a valiant effort.
It's a fun interpretation, but not supported by the filmmakers. They say no. But
One reason we might not have gotten full pictures of those other characters and they fit so neatly into those boxes is because I'm guessing a movie in 1984, it was probably only 90 minutes long, right? I mean, it probably wasn't much longer than that. You don't have a whole lot of time to delve too deeply into the many facets of all five characters. But
so the theory is those other four, the brain, the athlete, the princess, the criminal, are sort of a spectrum of teenage identity. And Allison is at the center, sort of trying to figure out which one she is.
Very interesting.
Makes me kind of want to watch it again.
Yeah. I wonder what you think of it if you watched it again.
Don't you forget about me.
Great song.
Wasn't that in that movie?
That was that.
Yeah.
That was,
Mm-hmm.
There's a new study from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. And that sounds pretty legit, right?
Yeah,
I almost looked it up to make sure that there really is an American Academy of Sleep Medicine. And I'm sure they studied lots of other things than just this too. But one of the things that they found is that nearly half of Americans sleep with what in their bed?
This had better not be a plush toy.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's a dog.
Pets.
A pet. Oh.
It doesn't
iguanas,
differentiate.
Snakes.
Well,
cats.
There's that for
sure. Remember a woman one time called, and I feel a little bad because I think I said it on the radio.
What?
She called and said that it was something we're talking about relationships. And she was talking about how her husband, was a little frustrated with her and she couldn't sort of understand it. Every night when she would go to bed, she would sleep with a cat on her head.
Nobody ever told you that was not that
no,
was
they
not
did.
the
that was a call.
Yeah. Well, what were you offering life advice on that
I don't
day?
know,
And
but if I had
called
been,
and said
maybe
somebody said
I would
I'm
tell
not
the
getting
husband
along with my husband.
I say get into counseling. I think that's a problem. What is the deal there?
I can't imagine
the cat. If you're married and if you sleep in the same bed, there should be no
animals
that's
sleeping
right.
on each other's
That's
heads.
right. No, yeah, exactly. No animals in the bed. If you're
unless you're both okay with it.
I guess that's just I don't know, man. It's all the dogs should be happy just to be indoors.
Well, this doesn't even go into that.
Enough.
Okay, but a lot of people do feel embarrassed about having an animal sleep in
What's
bed
the
with
percentage
them.
again?
It's 46%.
So half the country sleeps with an animal in their bed.
A pet in their bed.
Okay, of course. I mean, not just some wild animal.
That does occur to me sometimes. So it does occur to me. Okay, I've had my feelings have changed. My feelings have evolved over time on this. Many years ago, it was right around this time of year. It was Easter when we got we had pets when my kids were growing up, but we really only had one dog. And when we got him the way I think probably a lot of people back in the olden times when we had malls, the SPCA would come to the mall on a weekend. This was Easter weekend. We were all all three of my kids and I and other family members were at the mall on that weekend, and the SPCA had all of these little adoptable dogs. And we found this dog that was so cute, and it looked like the dog that my sister and I had grown up with, and we were drawn to this dog, and we didn't go home with that dog that day, but we did adopt that dog. He became ours. We put a little hold on him and went to pick him up at the SPCA a couple of days later. But one of my first questions to the people who had this little dog that they took out of the crate to introduce to us, I said, "Where?" Because the dog was being fostered, so the dog was living in a home, and I said, where does a dog sleep? And she was sort of indignant. She looked at me like, well, where do you think? And she said, well, in my bed. And I thought, okay, so this is something, because
crazy.
I did not grow up with the dog sleeping in bed with me. I mean, that's just not something that we did. But so we brought the dog home, and the dog immediately started sleep. He was with one of the kids every night. We had 3 different beds, 3 different kids that the dog could sleep with. But my bed was off limits.
That's right.
To the dog.
That's right.
The dog was pretty much allowed. It was a little dog, allowed on every piece of furniture we had, which I had also sort of never really envisioned, but not on my bed. The dog could never get in.
Your one safe place.
But that was my one. Yeah. That was my one safe place.
That's right.
Yeah, my one clean place.
That's right.
Really, if that's the way I felt about it at the time. Now, fast forward, that dog, Jack, crossed the Rainbow Bridge many years ago.
He's a good dog, man. He was a good dog. Golly, Jack,
loved
my buddy.
that dog. And now I have Charlie, much bigger dog. Charlie's 75 pounds.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, during a cold snap.
Yeah.
I think it was during the Snowmageddon ice thing when a bunch of people lost power and everything like that. A very cold floors, pier and beam house. Right. And I thought, well, maybe just for this week, Charlie doesn't have to sleep on the floor.
Sure.
He could sleep in my bed. I'll get him up off of the cold floor. He's been in my bed ever since that night. And it doesn't bother me. Yeah. Doesn't bother me at all, but I like it. Yeah. It is a comforting thing. But every once in a while I do, as I put my face really close to his to like say goodnight, I think this is an animal sleeping in my bed.
That's what I would remind you also. It isn't to say hey, good night, buddy.
You would do the same thing. If Charlie was yours, if you had Charlie at your house, Charlie would be sleeping in your bed every night.
No, he would. There's no way.
I guarantee it.
No,
I bet he would.
No. In fact, I can tell you absolutely not. It doesn't mean I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But evolve and devolve are not the same word. Those are different words.
I'm totally happy.
That's okay. I'm not to each their own. The thing was, Jack was such a small dog that he really got the rip off.
Why?
So, I mean, from you, it's
that
like
he wasn't allowed to. Well, sleep
it's like a dog 7 times as heavy is the one that got the pass,
and much harder to push over when he falls asleep. In a central place.
Believable.
On the bed, yeah.
Good night, buddy.
That is exactly what it sounds like.
Gosh. We've talked about respond to things, engage with us. It's good to send the email just to podcast@wildershow.com if you want to. But what really helps the engagement we'll talk about is to like, rate, follow, subscribe, share, comment. If we're talking about the average number of times that you bathe, you could chime in, right? You could say, well, I bathe once a day, or I've backed off a bit, which has coincided with the fewer friends I've noticed. But engage on the platforms wherever if you're on YouTube, then engage there, leave questions there, and we've had some that have done that, and one of them was, would you speak a little bit about your travels? And so I'm just saying just a real quick thing about that, because we were asked. And yes, I traveled overseas. Yes, it was for the purpose of, I'm not going to say with what group, because they still do it. And I don't want, now we live in a smaller world where everything is heard everywhere.
Right.
And everything is AI tagged and, scanned and all that. So I'm not going to say the group, but yeah, we would smuggle Bibles into communist countries. And I did it, and then would come back and tell their stories on the radio. I did that for about 13, 14 years with that group. And then I did also humanitarian work overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Been to Africa, 14 different countries in Africa, some of them multiple times. Had some wild experiences, hair-raising experiences. Really sort of on the brink of, not to over-dramatize it, but you've heard us talk about maybe with Bill Blount, my friend, in Nigeria. The whole thing of being stopped by a bunch of AK-47 wielding Muslims, taking people out of vans and Jeeps. Anyway, some of the work, though, was humanitarian work, usually with having to do with nutrition, starving kids in Africa, the proverbial starving kids in Africa. We'd go and do the work there. You and I have both been out of the country for humanitarian work to Nicaragua.
Right.
And then the questioner also was wondering, what's the deal with traveling around the country?
Yeah.
This country. And for whom? Several different folks we've done that for.
Yeah.
Including Save the Children. We've done it for Save the Children.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it for we have worked with a great pro-life group and do largely our travel around the country is for them right now. And we work to get ultrasound machines in clinics, in pro-life clinics, and then provide those ultrasound sessions to girls for free.
Right.
And so we do a lot of work for them for that. And that's been very rewarding. It is very rewarding.
Part of the job is to go to other parts of the country where they're doing that and see how what we talk about on the radio actually translates into the real world.
Yeah.
Actually see it in action.
So thanks for the question. Good question. And somebody else said they sent us a copy of Lauren's sports journal.
Oh, my goodness.
Deer hunting. And let me just turn to the audience for a second and say, if you don't know, and probably a lot of people that are listening to this are longtime friends of the show, but we used to do a thing called Lauren's Sports Journal, and it was very, very funny.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why it was funny in a second. But we would do a thing. We do Picks at 6 every Friday during the football season, the pro football picks. We'd do Picks at 6. We'd pick 6 games. And at 6 o'clock, we do a segment called Picks at 6. What made it funny was we suggested Lauren has a sports journal. And Lauren is really good at sports. She knows a lot about sports, is an expert on a lot of things. And that's not true. And in fact, she knows very little about many sports.
Very little.
Very little. And so what we would do is I would write it. And I would, in some cases, I would research it and write it. And I would write these narratives. For the football games, it's fairly easy. They just talk about things you didn't, like who was on IR and all this kind of stuff, injured reserves, that stuff you wouldn't know. But for the sports journal part, whether it was dove hunting, which was hilarious, or deer hunting, or NASCAR, the ones we wrote, it was the same thing with the Picks at 6. Lauren would not read them ahead of time.
Wouldn't even look at
Wouldn't even look
until
at them.
We were on the air.
They were face down, like a test paper from high school. Were face down in front of her, and the music would play, and she would read them for the first time out loud. And as she would read things that she has no idea what she's talking about, but has to hold forth as if she's an expert, it was extremely funny. And, I was writing it in her voice. And I was writing things that I knew she would get tickled about, like spreading deer urine around the deer blind and the brand of deer urine that is her preference and all those things. So anyway, that was somebody sent us a copy of it. We had the fishing one was great.
Yeah.
Gosh, the fishing one, all of them were great.
NASCAR was good.
NASCAR was good.
Fun.
Deer hunting was good. Deer hunting. She talks about the exact rifle she uses. And she still has an old axe handle in the back of her pickup truck that came from some previous event. Somebody sent it. It's about 6 minutes long. It's such a giggle. Such a giggle.
My dad's old axe handle or something,
That's
which
right.
was even more ridiculous
that's right.
than me being a sports authority, was that my dad would have
wield an axe.
Yeah, would wield an axe. That would have been what he handed down to me.
Yeah, well, in his defense, he would hire someone who did it very well.
Yeah,
he was. You got to know.
He was not an outdoorsman.
That's okay. You got to know your. Stay in your lane. He was good. He was really good, but that wasn't his bag. Anyway, thanks for the giggle, because it really was funny to listen to that again. You have no idea how much time I spent writing those stupid things.
I'm sure.
It took about an hour a minute for every minute that came out, it was about an hour to, in my view, craft it into something that was worthy, that I knew you would just get such a giggle along the way, and then you couldn't stop. Like laughing in church,
Yeah.
or laughing when there's milk in your mouth at the table. It's just, it's like you're in trouble. Anyway, it was fun. So thanks for the input. Thanks for the engagement. If you're listening right now, make sure you like, rate, follow, subscribe, share, and just send a comment. Put a comment if you want to. Just do it on the platform, and we'll look at them. We'll see them, all that stuff.
Oh, we check them all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
Another great reason to be really glad that we live where we live.
Mm-hmm.
More, which would I think if I asked you this question,
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of given it away already.
Go ahead.
But if you thought, if you had to tell me, do you think more heart deaths happen in cold weather or in heat? What would you say?
I actually know the answer to this.
Oh, you do?
It is the cold weather.
It is cold
But
weather.
can I tell you how I believe that to be true? And you tell me if I'm right?
Sure.
There is something goes on in your body that if you're in cold weather, you're trying to get warm. And so you put a lot of clothes on. But your internal temperature in your body can go up, and your outside body can still be quite cold. And that's why they say that there are many people, I assume they're mostly men, who die of heart attacks shoveling snow. And the reason is because, like an engine is overheated on the inside, but you feel the top of the hood and it's still cold. That's what happens to your body when you're doing that in the cold weather. I know there are people that die of heat stroke and that kind of stuff, but I think cold is actually more dangerous than is heat.
It is, and there certainly might be a lot of deaths that can be attributed to what you are talking about, the strenuous activity that people take part in the cold weather that there's not really a need for. Nobody's really shoveling in the heat. But cold temperatures are linked to an estimated 42,735 heart disease deaths per year in the United States. Yeah, and this is really it's interesting compared to roughly 2,242 for heat. That's 19 to 1. So most cold-related cardiac deaths are recorded as heart attacks or strokes, but temperature is rarely noted as a contributing factor. But what happens is cold drives up blood pressure, strains the heart, makes blood more prone to clotting, putting people who already have like existing heart or metabolic conditions at particular risk. So what they say is that these researchers say that our health system should build temperature forecasts into cardiovascular emergency planning and target high-risk patients with outreach before winter sets in. So the people who have these issues should be warned before. I mean, like I said, this doesn't even really talk about the extra stress that you're putting on your heart with the shoveling and things like that. But just the fact, just what the actual cold does to your body that affects those pre-existing conditions that you have that might make you prone to heart attacks and stroke. There's a new Bluebell flavor that's hitting store shelves.
Bluebell.
It's supposed to have begun arriving in stores yesterday.
Okay, hold on a second. I want to say a word about Bluebell.
Okay.
Love Bluebell. What's your favorite Bluebell flavor before this was announced? What is your favorite Bluebell flavor?
My favorite Bluebell
Brenham, Texas.
flavor. I guess I'd have to say I really like peppermint.
Really?
Really
okay,
like
interesting.
Peppermint. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I slept on peppermint for a long time and just
You slept on? What do you mean slept on?
I just kind of forgot it existed.
Oh, I gotcha.
And I would never order it
It's a good one.
when we would
It's
go
a good
someplace for ice cream. I would never buy it. I'd always stick to things like, chocolate or for a long time the most popular flavor in our house was coffee, which was great. It was not really my favorite flavor, which was good because that meant I didn't eat a whole lot of it.
Right.
But peppermint. Ooh.
Okay, so name your top 3 flavors. The top 3 Bluebell flavors.
Top 3 Bluebell flavors.
Yeah,
okay, so I already have the peppermint. Probably chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate. Like dark chocolate and milk chocolate?
No, just milk chocolate.
Not fudge, but more like milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate.
Gotcha.
Just plain milk chocolate.
Gotcha.
And then if I had to go on to something after that, it would probably be strawberry cheesecake.
Strawberry cheesecake. I don't think I've ever even had that. I think my go-to is almost always, may not be my favorite, but if I could only get one thing of ice cream, I guess that might be my favorite. But if you only have one,
Yeah.
I would say probably vanilla bean.
Vanilla
I like
bean.
vanilla bean.
Mhm.
I like the visual of the actual bean pieces in it.
Hmm.
I like chocolate chip quite a bit.
Just plain chocolate chip.
Yeah,
like
that was also
vanilla
mint.
ice cream with.
yeah.
Yeah.
They also mint chocolate chip. And then I
Mhm.
like something strange like a banana pudding.
Mm.
I make banana ice cream. I make coffee ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
as you recall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Brenham, what's their slogan?
Bluebell tastes just like the good old days.
There you go. All right. Bluebell tastes just like the good old days. All right. So what is the new flavor?
The new flavor is Brookie a la mode.
Brookie.
Brookie a la mode.
What does that mean? Brookie?
Available for a limited time in both half gallon and pint size. You don't know what a brookie is? A brookie is kind of like half brownie, half cookie. So what this is, and then a la mode, you know what a la mode is? It's
A la mode means with ice cream.
with ice cream. That's right. So this is the base is brown sugar ice cream loaded with chunks of chewy brownies and soft chocolate chip cookies.
Wow.
I might
You
try that. I might
I would take
give that a try.
I would take half a spoonful of that.
You know what else they mention? I know that makes me so mad. I can't even talk to you about how little you would need to be satisfied. What I had totally missed, though, is that they also introduced honey vanilla ice cream.
Oh, now
That is
that's interesting.
only available in pint size while supplies last.
Interesting.
But I could be a
Try that
player
too.
for that too.
Yeah, I just it is really though enough just to have a good spoonful, or maybe not even a good spoonful, just like a half a spoonful.
Okay, I have something that might convince you. There's a little bit more Bluebell news too that might convince you that you need a little bit more than
Go
a
ahead.
spoonful. Maybe. Earlier this month, Bluebell also released a new line of high protein dairy desserts. So they're not calling it ice cream. High protein dairy desserts.
Okay.
The Pro Pints contain up to 12 grams of protein per serving and come in chocolate, coffee, salted caramel, that could be good too, strawberry, and vanilla flavors. So up to 12 grams of protein per serving. So if I'm shooting for 100 grams of protein a day, that means I could have like 8 or 9 servings
But
of
how
ice
many
cream
calories
a day.
come with those?
Well, I'm not
and
even.
how much sugar is in
just
the? I mean, isn't that a bandwagon though? I'm not being
course
critical.
it is.
Not being
You can
critical
get-
of Bluebell, but
can
that's
get,
sort of everything is now protein added.
You
Everything.
can get Pop Tarts with
Yeah,
protein
it's like they
now.
don't. Yeah, it's like everybody stay in their lane. If you have Pop Tarts, they're bad for you. People who eat them don't want them to be good for them. French fries, make them with the worst possible stuff. Go back to tallow. We don't want seed oil.
Just
okay?
make them taste good.
Because believe me, what is the point? Just everything that is bad for you should taste as good as it can. Don't mess it up. Don't change. Once tuna became dolphin free, it was never the same.
No. You can't say that. I mean, you can't.
I like
but
just a little bit of dolphin in my tuna,
Just-
just a little bit. And I want toys in Cracker Jack to be choking hazards.
It's never as much fun when they weren't choking hazards.
Oh,
anymore.
look, I have a little lick on tattoo
I like those.
that I've gotten in my. No, I want something that you put between your teeth and you suck in and blow out, and it makes a whistle noise. And if you're not careful, you could actually take it down your throat. Those are the things that caused us to end up having toys that aren't even toys in Cracker Jack. The risk.
You like your snack food with a little bit of danger.
Danger. All snacks should have an element of danger.
Just a little bit. Well, your ice cream does have an element of danger. But yeah, I could try all 3 of those.
Yeah, we should do that.
It's baseball season.
Baseball season too. That's
now
right.
Too.
Baseball season. Rangers started yesterday, and they have the automatic ball strike system now. It's a computerized thing. We'll see how that goes. You know, Netflix really blew it the other night on the season opener.
They did,
because they were the first to ever have on television during a game, a regular season game, the use of that machine on a challenged call. And we missed seeing that on the Netflix coverage because at that time they were interviewing someone in the dugout.
Oh.
What? This is why you don't have people on Netflix. You don't have enough staff. There aren't enough great people to call games, to have a whole bunch of people standing by at Netflix, standing by at this place, standing by at that place to have a couple of games a year. Netflix got in trouble before with something else. They were in the playoffs. They were doing something. It's a Netflix game. It's a Cowboys game. It was like crazy. So baseball season, best time of the year. Baseball season is back, baby. That is the Wilder Show podcast for this time. And again, those early things may have all changed. All the news things are changing every second. Yeah, speaking of Cracker Jack, there you go. Nice tie-in, Lauren.
Thank you.
Cracker Jack
Thank you.
in
Thank
baseball. And that is the Wilder Show podcast. Instagram, you'll find us there, Wilder Show Pod. Engage with us there. If you want to send us an email, we told you that, podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Engage with us there. Tell us what you think about the show. Thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. And we're also on the TikTok now and again. So wherever you get your podcasts, please like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. And Lauren, thank you.
You bet.
And we'll see you next time.
Da-da-da.